How's it going, guys? I'm back today with another recent knife purchase. Today on the table, we'll be looking at the mighty Cold Steel AD15 Lite. To preface, I have a pretty large knife collection ranging from all price ranges and makers. However, this is the only cold steel in the collection at the moment. I've personally found most cold steel designs not really the most attractive, and none of their knives really had that draw for me. However, I've always been drawn to this Cold Steel AD15, and when it came out with the light version, just a little bit cheaper than the standard version, I knew I had to have it. This is designed by famed designer Andrew Demko, who you may have heard from Demko Knives, and it features a really cool locking system called the Scorpion Lock. Typically, knives are usually equipped with either a liner lock or a frame lock, and then finally a crossbar lock. But this one is a little bit different. As I said, it comes with a Scorpion lock. This back bar on the handle features a small standoff, and when we deploy the blade, it'll fall into this small cutout right here and just lock it up perfectly. With this lock engaged, the pressure you apply on the handle will keep the blade securely locked. This is truly one of the strongest locks out there on a folding knife, in my opinion. Though this doesn't automatically turn it into like a fixed blade, this is still one of the most robust pocket folders out there. Now, not only is this lock just crazy tough, but the design also allows you to open and close the knife without having your fingers in the path of the blade. Though there are large thumb studs you can use to deploy the blade, my preferred method is actually deploying the knife using that Scorpion lock. Due to the heft of the blade, you will need to use some force to get it going. With the blade deployed, and sometimes it will kind of jam up like that, just a simple push down and it locks it right back up. With the blade deployed, you can use the same method to actually shut the blade, keeping your fingers out of harm's way. Just pull back on that Scorpion lock and just drop shut. It's not the most smoothest or most fidgety knife out there by any means, but I don't think this knife is really designed for that. This thing is meant to be used as a workhorse, and it just does that job extremely well. For some quick specs, this knife is about 5 inches when closed, and when it's fully open, it comes in at 8.5 inches. So it's a pretty big knife, and it has a blade length of 3.5 inches. Due to the size of this knife, this is coming with a rather kind of heavy weight at about 6.2 ounces. This specific AD15 Lite is coming with a very thick drop point blade of AUS 10 blade steel, while the premium model comes in an S35VN. This is a pretty thick blade, so not the most slicey knife out there, but you can still put it through its paces without any issue. I'm a really big fan of this jimping on the top of the spine, and your hand just locks in there perfectly. This features injection molded handle scales, and they have a pretty nice simple texture on them, and it gives you some additional grip should the knife get wet or slippery. I will say this texture does come with a downside, as the pocket clip rides directly on this handle, and that pocket clip is pretty tight. So that pocket clip is just riding right on that texture. So putting this in and out of the pocket might kind of destroy your pants pocket just due to that aggressive texture and that pocket clip just constantly riding down on it. I will say this pocket clip is also one of my cons on this knife. It's a decent pocket clip, but it's not deep carry by any means. As you can see, a nice chunk of the knife will be sticking out of the pocket. So that's a little bit of a bummer, considering such a big knife and half of it is sticking out of your pocket. The knife doesn't have really any fancy materials or really a high-end blade steel, yet I've been wanting a large folder that I wouldn't feel bad about using and abusing on tougher jobs. For this purchase, this thing is a home run. I really wouldn't EDC this thing every day. It's a bit overkill and a little bit large, but if you're in need of a solid, sturdy workhorse of a knife, check it out. I don't think you can go wrong with this one. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe below, and I'll catch you on the next one.